What's going on, AfterBuzz family? You knocked and we are buzzing you in. It's a family reunion or something like that on Braxton Family Values coming up next.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
You didn't come to party, then you better go home.
Yes, get it, Rich. Sing it, Trina. I'm ready to go to West Hollywood, honey. Golly.
I thought you would appreciate that.
You know I love a good EDM beat.
Ow.
Was this even on the Billboard Top 100? It should have been number one. Classic.
I mean, it's just on my gym playlist. You know, when I'm getting my cardio on.
Cause if you didn't come to party, then you better go home. But since you're looking at AfterBuzz TV, you gonna sit your ass down. Since you turned to AfterBuzz TV, you gonna sit your ass down, and you gonna have a party with us.
Cheers to that.
And you ain't gotta go home because you probably already at home because you watching AfterBuzz TV.
Boom.
Rich, do you know what today is?
What's today?
It is the last time I'm going to see you for this show for probably like months.
Is it?
It's the finale of Braxton Family Values.
That was the finale?
That was the finale. Or was it?
I don't think that was the finale. The way it ended, I'm like, that cannot be the finale.
Wait a minute. That's not the... Okay. I thought tonight was the finale.
I don't know. Listen, I'm going to have to find that out. And we're going to have to, like, do some research and find out if that was really the finale or not. But if that was the finale, I need some answers.
Either way, that was random. Forgive me. It was episode 24. And I just feel like after 24 episodes, like, what else do you have to say? Anyways, let's get into it. You guys, Braxton Family Values, Season 5, Episode 24. It may or may not be the finale. You know, we all make mistakes.
We'll let you guys know shortly.
If you see me next week. All right. Anywho, tonight's episode, The Other Mrs. Braxton. So I missed last week, but you know how we get down on social media.
Yeah.
AfterBuzz TV across the board, in case you guys didn't know.
Okay.
Before we get into the social
it's
media.
26 episodes this season.
26.
Good. You know, I'm glad because there's so many questions after this finale. So I'm well, not after this episode. Sorry.
I'm telling on myself right now. I had a vacation plan next week.
Not anymore.
Now I gotta call Virgin America and see if we can move my flight. Damn you, Tamar. Okay, so for those of you guys who have been keeping up with us for 24 episodes, I am McCall Hall. When sports and pop culture collide, you can find me on social media, especially on Instagram at McCall Hall of Fame. Richie, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on the Instagram and the Twitter at DJ Richie Skye. And
to everybody from last week, I want to give you a special shout out. Fresh351, Tiffany Fulton, MAA 1176, Clarice Ann Horn, shout out to you. Our girl Net, always on here.
Hey.
Kirby Shaw, Shimmy Her, or Sheem, I'm not sure, I probably got that wrong. Yaya 1269, you know, I love that name. Baby E, nice to see you. Kira Deese, I think I said your name correctly. I'm not sure. Tiffany Fulton and our dear Graphic Jack. Thank you guys.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Okay, so now that I know that we have 2 more weeks of Braxton Family Values, okay. I feel a little bit better because, to your point, yeah. I walked in here kind of speechless because I didn't understand what just happened. The other piece I want to bring up, WeTV. I love Braxton Family Values, but if I have to look at promos for Love and Hip Hop or whatever that show, what is it? Growing Up Hip Hop?
Growing Up Hip Hop, Atlanta.
If I have to see another promo for Bow Wow and his fake Range Rovers.
Okay.
I'm not watching Braxton Family Values anymore.
We should have played I Don't Need No Frauds on the intro, because that really would have been the appropriate theme song, since they kept showing his fake ass the entire time. Sorry about that. I had to go there. But
I think we're not going to be able to get into the show until we address the elephant in the room. The fake elephant in the room. We TV, we love what you guys are doing. We love tonight's episode, but can we not do this growing up hip hop stuff? I just can't do it. I just can't. I can't.
My only thing was, it was every single commercial. I was like, okay, I know.
And they have not promoted Braxton's like that.
No.
I don't think.
Promo Braxton's the way you're doing growing up hip hop on your own network.
Okay, so let's talk about the Braxtons.
Okay.
Sisters are still in Mexico. They go to the market, and the shade of all shade, Tamar did not tell anybody that Vince and Logan were in Mexico.
I was wondering all last episode, when is she gonna drop that little bombshell?
I would be mad as hell.
And it was so anticlimactic. I was expecting like a little bit more of a reaction, but it was very much like, well, girl, why didn't you say something? Why weren't you honest?
Well, yeah, it was anticlimactic, but I think secretly all of them could use a break from their actual lives.
True.
I'm just saying. Now, my only thing is, if you were going to bring your son, I could have brought my kids, and we could have, paid for a couple of nannies, and they could have hung out together, because they all live in different areas. You know what I mean?
No, I would have been like, good. My kids can stay at home with the nannies that they got there. I needed some time to turn up by myself.
That's true.
That's just me.
And let's just be honest, Towanda's probably trying to give Andre as much time as he can get with those kids, because she's getting them back. Snatching wigs. Tamar brought up the fact that, Vince almost lost his life a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And birthdays are very important to them, and that's why Vince had to come, because it also fell on his birthday.
Yeah.
I think it's very important that we just appreciate life year after year. My birthday's coming up, and
so is mine.
I didn't really want to talk about it because I just get very uneasy. But it's true. Like, when you come that close to death, you have to celebrate every life.
Absolutely.
Or every year of life.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And I feel like, given the context of the trip, and then it doesn't seem like he's interfered at all. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, nothing, his presence has not been a distraction.
No, it hasn't. Tamar's quote that started off the show and had me on the floor, we gonna be together on his birthday, and we gonna bust it wide open. If you didn't come to party, then you better go home. Let's talk about birthday sex. Side note, 30 seconds, you guys, just let me go in.
Go in.
Ain't nothing like some good old tequila shots on your birthday. You feeling all appreciative for life. You didn't have a little nibble of cake on your tongue. Then you go back to the crib and you blow out another candle. Woo, golly. Woo. If you didn't come to party, then you better go home. Okay. So this is where I just had to talk about it, because when they were talking about the birthday, I'm like, I could see them really having some fun, steamy hot.
Yeah, they need to. He's in slim down some. They in Mexico. He
ain't got all that belly.
Come on now, celebrate it.
Child, you gotta tell me twice. So Michael Sr. tells Wanda that they need to promote healing as they walked on the beach. Number one, them two, I almost slipped up. Those two African Americans, because I almost said something else. Those two African Americans need to be careful on that beach. He already has a cane. When that water rushes up on you, it will grab you by the ankles and suck you in. And I know Miss Wanda got a little extra meat on her, but it'll take you too. It'll take you too. First of all, Michael Sr., shut up. Just shut up. He just pissed me off so many times tonight.
A lot.
Did you catch Miss Wanda say that her kids accept him?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I understood more towards the end of the episode, why everybody's really mad. You up here playing daddy to some other African Americans, but you couldn't play daddy with us? Oh, hell no.
I'm trying to hold it in.
I'm trying to set it up for y'all so you really understand what evolved.
But I suspected as much anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we don't really know what was going on in her life prior to her getting with him. Like, if did she separate from somebody and mix it up with him, or was she single and just stepped into the scene? Because otherwise, it makes sense why they accept him. You know what I'm saying? Because she waltzed into somebody else's situation. And the retelling of the way that this whole thing went down by Sir Michael was just so different from what we've heard previously from Miss E.
Well, either way, either Miss Wanda was eating good before she met Michael, or she was eating good after. But
well, we know who doing the cooking, though.
Shade. Let's get into it. Trina talks about her braids. Side note.
I really wish they hadn't even addressed this, because this has been bothering me all season.
Well, I'm confused because her hair looked laid. It looked laid. Was that her natural hair?
I don't know. Here's this WeTV. This is the other thing that I want to complain about. We love you, WeTV, but we have to call it how we see it. But if you're gonna chop and screw these scenes up the way that you're gonna do, I'm gonna need you to at least go into some type of chronological order so that we can't tell the difference. Because if she has braids in one scene and she doesn't in another, and she does in another and she does in another, it might be a clue that she didn't have. These weren't in chronological order. At least make me feel like I am watching a sequential show, something that is happening over the progression of time, not you going back in and throwing in a scene that should have happened early. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Like, I mean, and it doesn't take it. Getting braids done, to my knowledge, to that degree, is no small feat.
No. I have taken many weekends in college with many cocktails and DVDs, bootleg DVDs, getting my hair done. This seems to be a trend around WeTV to like not do things that make sense and tell the public that you doing something and then it don't make sense. Bow Wow's on WeTV, he telling lies. They telling lies on here about hair. WeTV, we see what you're doing.
We see
Stop. Ugh. So this is where it gets interesting. Miss E shares that Logan, a 3-year-old whose mother is Tamar, who talks a lot, told some tea. Logan shared with Miss E that Pop was here and Miss Wanda was there. Now here's my question to you, Richie, Skye. Because again, I'm a logical person. When Logan told Miss E, Pop is here, did he say Miss Wanda? Because I thought that Logan had never met the woman. The way they set it up, it was like nobody really knew Miss Wanda. So how did Logan know that was her name?
Well, that's a good question.
You see what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah, I see it. I see it. There has to have been some type of other like meeting for all of them. At least Tamar and Vince and Logan. Because how if that scene played out the way that it was shown, he had to have known who she was.
I guess. It just kind of threw me off because
Unless maybe Vince said that's Miss Wanda, which he would have had to. I don't know. It was
like
it was strange.
It didn't add up for me. It didn't add up for me. But anyways, Miss E is pissed. Miss E is so pissed that she said, I'm getting the hell out of Dodge. And I'm getting on the first airline. I don't care if it's Spirit. I don't care if it's United. I don't care if it's Frontier. I'm getting out of Mexico. And I'm going back to Atlanta, LA. Hell, you could take me to Tijuana. But I'm not going to be here.
See, I had a hard time with this decision. On the one hand, you know, my thing is, I'm on an all-expense-paid vacation. I really don't have to see you. I'm sure I have a very nice suite with which I can just enjoy my time with and never step out of the room again to film with you guys.
And because I'm pissed, I'm going to run up all the room service.
Okay. Now, on the other hand, there is the real me, and I have made quite a number of dramatic exits in my day, and so I can probably safely say I would have done the same thing and would have been on the first thing smoking. Because listen, when I'm irrational, I am completely irrational. Like, it is out the door. I'm out.
Oh, okay. I'll keep that in mind. I agree.
What would you have done?
I agree with you that I would have taken that nice vacation to
in the rational mind.
I would have excused myself from the festivities and social gatherings.
Yep.
And I would have indulged in all of those different spa packages, all those things that you think about doing on vacation. You're like, dang, that costs that much. You know what? I would have put it on Birdman's credit card. Since you want to be family, okay? I would have put it on Birdman's credit card, and I would have had the time of my life alone.
Here's what I wonder.
Eat, pray, love.
Pray, love. I'm wondering this. Okay, let's break the wall real quick and say we're Miss E, right? Maybe we didn't know going in that this was occurring, right? Mm-hmm. So now I'm probably mad at the family. I'm mad at production. I'm mad at everybody.
Can't trust nobody.
The
producer
Y'all
knew?
trying to set me up to have a run-in with this woman, and nobody told me about it. So now, in a broader perspective, it makes total sense why she's probably like, you know what, I'm not even finna do this with y'all.
And she's such a
y'all
Christian.
Not gonna take me here.
Yeah, and she's such a Christian. She's like, so y'all gonna play me for a check? That ain't even Christ-like.
Nope.
The saints were not on the same page. I see that point. I can see why she would be mad. Again, but if it were me and my regular life having ass, pass me that pina colada.
Okay. Some shots.
Miss E was very emotional at the end, though. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
Now, how about that? Like, I got nervous. The shade that I felt, though, was that everybody knew there was a chance that Miss Wanda was going to be there. And nobody even put the bug, like, kind of in her ear.
Yeah, I mean, they all passed it off on Toni. And at the end of the day, it was like, none of them said, like, when she mentioned it to them, when they were sitting there, neither Towanda nor Trina said, well, we knew that she might be coming. Nobody said that. They were just
I would assume that Miss E has seen Miss Wanda at least once in person, just, somehow. She's seen pictures. I have said this on numerous occasions, that Miss E is the one who has had the greatest of glow up since they started doing this show.
Okay.
Miss E looks fabulous.
Amazing.
I would not hide from that woman. And no disrespect, because I'm not here to throw shade at looks. But when I have had my glow up, I'm going to show my ass. If I were Miss E, I'd be in his face. Like, look at what you could have had.
Right?
I'm the French dinner. I'm the lobster. Okay? She's crawfish. Hell, not even that. Anywho, sisters go to dinner and they await Miss Wanda. You could cut the tension with a knife.
This was probably one of the best episodes.
Now, what did I tell you when we were sitting there? Whether this is the finale or this is, Jesus Christ, episode 24. We have been waiting 24 episodes.
Yep, patiently.
A
year in the making.
I mean, we live in LA. Sitting in 2-hour traffic every week. To wait for this episode. You could have told us this episode 8. We could have done this episode 8. But I mean, that was just crazy. That was crazy.
Was.
So, Toni said that she invited, Michael and Wanda. Here's my question to you. Another, do you guys ever feel this and pick it up? Toni either overspeaks and overdoes that Toni takeover shit, excuse my French, or she underdelivers. Either she'll be really late, she won't tell you nothing, or she'll go over the top. Why can't Toni just live in a middle ground?
That's interesting.
This episode made me cuss a lot, so I'm not even gonna say excuse my French anymore, because there were so many moments tonight where I was like, oh hell no. So I'm gonna say some things tonight, and if you don't like it,
that's interesting. I never really picked up on that.
Toni cannot live in flyover states. Toni's either New York, baby, or Toni's LA. But Toni can't be, and shout out to my people in Ohio, but Toni can't just be Ohio.
She was definitely New York today.
For real. So Senior and his sister wife show up.
I'm leaving. I'm gone. I can't.
Where's my spray? Yeah, that was shade. Because they look like twins.
And I'm here for it.
Okay, on YouTube, Facebook, whatever we have going on. Please tell me if you think Michael and Miss Wanda look like they could be related.
You know, you have them couples out there, they be together for so long, they start to look alike.
Maybe that's what if it's in the nose. Like, I don't know. They just look alike. This is sister wife. Anyways, but the sisters keep talking about bringing closure. What is closure besides a hairpiece? No, I mean, for real. Like, this is that episode where we have to go a little bit deeper, and I have a lot of questions.
You know what?
What is closure besides a hairpiece?
The thing about closure is that it's a gamble, and and oftentimes you have to be okay with not getting closure. You have to close the loop yourself. And even in the discussion tonight, I don't know if there was closure.
I think there was revelation.
Definitely that.
There was revelation because, you know, they're being very testy with Miss Wanda. And she wasn't really saying too much. She was kind of like, number one, this is not the kind of food I like. I've never had French food. Which, let's divert for 1 second. You've never had French food, and you've been married to this man for how long? And he never took you to a French restaurant? Girl, I would have left him. Please.
Because she's doing all the cooking.
He clearly been just taking her to Golden Corral, and she's just feeling so lucky. He's like, something strikes me as he's raggedy for that. Anywho, you know, they start getting kind of testy and everything, and you know, Toni says, well, if anything ever happened to our dad, we got to deal with you. And she was saying that as that's we've got to deal with you, the person that pulled us away from our dad. And I say revelation because what we find out is I don't think Miss Wanda really wanted to be that person. You know what I mean?
Doesn't seem like it.
And it seems like Michael Sr. has been full of it for a very long time. And I'm trying to be sympathetic because, number one, he's my elder. Okay? But Michael is full of it.
I believe it. Hearing... it's so frustrating to me because these are your daughters. You know what I'm saying? These not your sons who and you're right he was right in one respect in that as a man he probably, if it had been that he had not gone to maybe Michael's Jr.'s wedding, maybe
is Michael Jr. married?
I have no idea. I'm just hypothetically speaking. I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But it may not have had as great an impact as it would for, you know, a daughter who really just wants her dad to walk her down the aisle. That's huge. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And regardless of whether or not, you know, he has to understand that the way that situation went down is why there was that mandate that she could not come. Mm-hmm. It wasn't because they just didn't like her. Mm-hmm. It was that he put this on a platter in a way that was distasteful. So now they don't want to accept that. You know what I'm saying? And they have every right to because it is her wedding.
It was presentation.
It is her wedding. She can say what she wants at her wedding.
Let me piggyback off what you brought up about presentation. Toni described to Miss Wanda why it was so, you know, ridiculous about their interaction and how they were introduced to her. But here's the thing, Toni Braxton, living legend. You don't have to plagiarize. You don't have to steal music. That was a line out of the Cosby Show.
Was it?
You remember when I think it was Sandra brought, maybe it was Evelyn or one of the daughters brought her husband and then said we're already married or something like that, and he already got a kid, to her parents. And remember how Cliff pulled him aside in the kitchen and said, you know, you like steak, you know, or what you like on the steak, you like mashed potatoes, you like mushrooms on your steak.
MG.
That was from the Cosby Show.
She pulled a Bow Wow challenge, y'all.
She slipped the ultimate quaalude. I can't. This episode made me throw a lot of shade because it just had me all over the place. But anywho, it is true. It's how Miss Wanda was presented and represented without the chance to defend herself. Yeah. Right? She never had a chance to really defend herself. And what we find out, Michael really has been making the ultimate decision on how he's going to interact, when he's going to interact, and what it looks like when he does.
It didn't even really occur to me until Tamar basically had the visceral revelation. Like she basically visually displayed what happened. Yeah. Because I didn't get it. Until she said it, and I was like, oh yeah. Because
then she had a proclamation. She was like, I got to tell my truth. I have to speak. Do you guys not see what is happening here?
That was like.
And I was sitting there like, what the hell is she about to say?
To me, that was like the biggest moment. Like, I hadn't even processed that because I was so busy thinking about Trina and why he wasn't there. And then it didn't even occur to me that, oh, snap. He's the reason why he's not been in their lives.
It's his choice. Ain't got nothing to do with that woman. That woman would be happy with a bucket of whatever, KFC, whatever.
He gonna make her cook it though.
He gonna make her cook it, but she'd be happy to just have smiles and good food, you know, maybe a spirit or two. She ain't worried about them. Yeah. She wasn't that woman, but he didn't have the courage to just say what it was. And when you go that long being a coward, it is even more hurtful that it took you this long. This episode had a lot of layers to it, and I think anybody who has had a blended family or split family, there were a lot of flashes that I could pull from. I mean, my parents were separated at one point, and I saw a lot of that because it's like you're choosing the way you're interacting with that other part of your life now. The only thing I can think of is that other part of your life must be demanding your time. And that's what it looks like to kids. It's like, whatever it is. It could be career. It could be another person. It could be anything. But it is demanding your time and not being considerate of me. And then I'm also going to hate it. And that was never the case. And that's what is just so sad about it. That woman probably wanted him to go see those kids all the time. Hell, she probably got tired of them sometime. Go see your kids. I'm tired of looking at you. I'm not cooking tonight.
The thing that really it bothers me. So like maybe it shouldn't bother me, but his retelling of events is dramatically different from Miss E's and from what they have recalled. It's almost like for him, he says, we fell out of love. Now, that's not really the way the story was told to us, not even mere weeks ago. No. By Miss E. So I'm like, brother, you in denial about this? About how this went down?
But you know what they say. There's your side, my side, and somewhere in the middle lies the truth.
Miss Wanda was lying in the middle. Apparently.
Now, according to Michael...
Allegedly.
According to Michael, he had no intention of finding another woman. He just wasn't happy at home.
Were you married when you got busy with Miss Wanda?
He was.
If you was married when you got busy with Miss Wanda, not let alone the other women that it is alleged that you were with, that speaks volumes about you and how you was getting down back in the day.
Michael Sr. has a...
Don't flip it now.
He has pretty eyes. You and Michael Sr. had the same eyes. You got them pretty eyes. He probably didn't have women swooning over him for years and just thought, his ish didn't stink and he could never get caught up. One of them types, So I want to just talk about Tamar's confessional before we go into the next level of what this is. Tamar is in the confessional talking about Trina's wedding and how he didn't show up with a glass of chilled champagne.
I was so here for it. I was so here for that.
I didn't bring any cocktails this week. I was running late. But in that moment, I wished I had some kind of drink where I could just toast to the screen.
Okay.
That's how you read somebody. I'm going to read you with a glass of champagne, chilled, rosé to be exact. And I'm going to tell you the whole truth and nothing but the truth, holding my champagne. Because you know what they say, a drunk man don't tell no lies. So if I'm drinking champagne and I'm telling you the truth, you know this is coming from a place of truth with me.
Okay. It adds a level of class and sophistication.
Oh, God. Anyways, Trina starts crying because I think, and Trina's being very quiet, but I think as everybody is yelling and they're screaming and she's hearing this and she's hearing that and she's in her head starting to process, oh my gosh, he really did not show up for me because he did not want to show up. It had nothing to do with anything else. And it just hit Trina like a bag of bricks. You got Black Nasty showing up to your house with the feds. Your ex-husband, we don't know where he is. You probably got his genitals all over the internet again. And then you find out that your father chose not to be there for the most important day of your life. Trina's just getting let down by menfolk.
But I think that may have...
Her sons probably will end up in jail next week at this rate.
I feel like that is possibly a good reason why she may sometimes feel like the black sheep, because if he's able to kind of show that level of support to his other kids and then not show up at your own wedding, that has to be very damaging. On top of everything else, you know what I'm saying? So I wonder if, you know, some of her maybe sort of issues with dating and men have had to do with, you know, how she processes her relationship with her dad. That's what I was wondering as I was listening, as I was watching her reaction to it. And I just felt so bad for her because I was like, I
felt really bad for Trina.
She's had a hard time, but hearing that is just worse.
Yeah. Yes. And that's a great read into who she is as a person. Very intuitive of you. You're so deep. You're so deep. You're so deep.
So deep.
So deep. So let's talk about Tamar just losing it. So Tamar's had enough. Tamar's had enough.
I think I would have loved to.
Tamar's had enough. She doesn't want to hear any of this BS anymore about who said what, about what adult is pointing the finger. She brought it down to a very basic level. Now, we have heard the sisters throw shade at Tamar all this season about how she kind of doesn't parent Logan. You know, she's sometimes not there, da-da-da-da-da. She set this up so well. She goes, I am a mother. And very rarely do we hear Tamar just really proclaim her motherhood like that. But she said, at the core of who I am a mother. And I would never do something to intentionally hurt my child. It was that moment of maturity where I was like, go ahead, Tamar. But it's true. At what point do you put all the BS aside for your kids? Now, this is 16 years ago. I'm not trying to shade anybody's age, but 16 years ago, none of them were kids. Maybe he felt like they were adult enough to handle what he was doing. You think that? Because, I mean, I think maybe Michael would have had a bit of reservation if they were 7, 8, 9 years old. But they were grown at this point.
I think that it's still inexcusable. He doesn't have to let them into his relationship, but he does have to be there. That's just it. Did
you catch Tamar's breast almost pop out of her shirt when she hopped up?
Yes, I was like, girl, keep it in.
I was like, I thought I saw a nip slip. But Trina finally broke her silence and, being the mature woman that she is, said, you know, we got to be present because he's here. We can still call him. We can still email him. We can still see him because he's here. He's alive.
Yep.
And I thought that was very mature of her because in that moment and at that dinner, the only person I really felt like was hurting, sincerely hurting, even with Tamar's outburst, was Trina. Yeah. And for Trina to be able to break her silence and have that moment of maturity, I was proud of her. Yeah. And I was also very impressed because I don't think I could have done it. The show kind of ends. I don't know. I think it ended with Miss Wanda crying to Michael Sr. with her bonnet on about, you know, how they just want to, you know, get past all this, and then they go out, the sisters go out for drinks, and the final question is Tamar wants to know why Toni invited Miss Wanda to dinner, and it just cut off. So
we were confused.
So if there was anything after that, I don't know. Please share.
Because we didn't see it.
We didn't see it. But it sounds like we're going to hear about it next week because this is not the finale. I'm going to call Virgin America as soon as I leave here. But it was an absolute pleasure. Now,
Yes.
between now and next week, because I guess we'll see you next week.
Yep.
You can find me on social media when sports and pop culture collide at McCall Hall of Fame. Where can they find you?
You guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at DJ Richie Skye.
Go on AfterBuzz TV's YouTube for this show, and please leave comments. I really like reading your guys' comments and writing
because you guys
to
go off.
Yeah, you guys really do go off. So can you please write us some comments this week? I love it. We'll see you next week for another episode of Braxton Family Values here on AfterBuzz TV. Peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.